Not many things illustrate the war experience like still photographs. These images truly are worth 1,000 words, especially if veterans took or were in the photos. More than 15 years ago, a local veteran started a project that's still telling stories today. In fact, it's so relevant, he's now turning it into a book.
Well, we wanted to see if we could tell the story of what it was like to be in Vietnam through the veterans' eyes.
They are images that have stood and continue to stand the test of time, each one shot by a veteran during his time in Southeast Asia. Here at the Summit School in Winston-Salem, professional photographer and Vietnam-era veteran Martin Tucker teaches photography classes in a classroom filled with old cameras.
This guy did 5 tours in Vietnam.
He's spending a lot of time these days looking through pictures that are part of a collection he curated back in 2002. At the time, he was teaching photography classes at the Sawtooth School for Visual Art downtown.
And I had a black and white class, darkroom class, and I kind of felt like that they were getting a little stale. They didn't know, what was coming up in those trays wasn't very exciting. I thought, well, I'll jump in and see. We'll put some flyers out.
The flyers included this one. They asked local Vietnam veterans if they had negatives from the war they would share and allow Tucker's students to print and show as part of a special exhibit at Sawtooth.
Why Vietnam veterans? Did that just your experience?
It's my generation, yeah. And that's really when 35mm cameras started to get good and still inexpensive. And I thought, well, there must be some good negatives out there. And so then after about a month, we started to get some calls.
How many pictures were you kind of expecting when you first started
I would
out?
say a couple of hundred.
How many did you end up getting?
We got over 2,000.
Those were narrowed down to 60. To help with the photos' written descriptions, Tucker's team asked the veterans to describe the images they took or submitted and recorded the answers.
This is a sand bunker, sandbag bunker, and anytime you're getting fire, you would go into this bunker.
We did the Christmas show. This was in 1966 when I was a military policeman, and we were there at the stage.
My wife said, I was writing home to her, and she says that's her story, and she's sticking to it.
The 1,000 Words exhibit opened at Sawtooth in July of 2004. The display would then travel to multiple different places. Right now, it's in its second showing here at the North Carolina Museum of History in Raleigh, and Tucker's composing a layout of a book featuring the images.
Is there one particular photograph that kind of speaks to you in a way that the others don't?
Yeah, and I'm hoping that they will use it, select it for the cover of the book. But it is an African-American soldier covered head to toe in mud. I just can't get into his head to see what he's feeling, but it's the most iconic. It stops you dead in your tracks.
What do you hope people will take away from these pictures?
A better understanding of what that conflict was all about, and an appreciation for that selfish act that they all did for us.
The 1,000 Words exhibit runs through the end of February at the North Carolina Museum of History in Raleigh. Tucker hopes to have the book published and in area bookstores sometime next year.